Hello, and welcome to yet another Pride video. I'm excited to share all of the art that I made in this video, and as you can see, I am drawing LGBT couples. But first, I want to kind of address a couple things about the video. First, in my Pride flag video, which, by the way, it's been getting a lot of attention, which has been a little overwhelming, so thank you for that. But one thing that I got comments about quite a bit was the speed of the video. They were saying that it was really, like, sped up fast, and the reason for that is because there's a lot of drawings in the video, and I wanted to keep it a decent length, and so I had to speed up the footage a lot more than normal to kind of keep a regular video length. And it might be the same for this video. I tried to make that not happen, and I tried to keep the footage as low as possible and not move the canvas around so much when I'm drawing. Don't think I did a very good job with that, but I mean, I tried. Second, I also wanted to talk about how I picked which characters to draw, because I didn't want to do characters that were just ships. I wanted to do characters that were like in a canon confirmed romantic relationship, and I also wanted to do characters from fandoms that I was in. For example, one couple that kept popping up was Bubbleen from Adventure Time, and I don't really watch Adventure Time, so I didn't really want to draw that. And I don't have anything against the show or anything, I just thought that it would be more fun for me to do if they were characters from shows and stuff that I liked. So, with all that out of the way, here's all that. Here are the couples that I picked. As you can see, the first one is Korra and Asami from The Legend of Korra, and this was the first pairing that I thought of because I absolutely adore them. I love Avatar and Korra and just that whole universe. It's a series that means so much to me, and so I knew that I had to include these, and so they were the first one that I picked and the first one that I drew. And honestly, they're probably my favorite out of this entire little group. I just really liked their dynamic, and I really liked how the Legend of Korra comics kind of expanded on their relationship more. Some people think that like the relationship between them is kind of rushed. I personally don't really think that. If you were to go back and like watch it, you would see a lot of like subtle romantic things. You would see a lot of subtle romantic development, and I just think that it's really cute. I also really like how they were like the two opposite ends of a love triangle, I guess you could say, but in the end they're the two that ended up together, and I think that that helps to make love triangles a little bit more interesting. I don't know. Maybe that's just because I, for one, have never been the biggest fan of love triangles, but I don't know, maybe that's just me. The actual, like, drawing came to mind really easily because as soon as I decided that I was going to draw these two, this is how I pictured them, and so then that's how I drew them because I thought that it was just perfect. I had a little bit of trouble drawing the arm that was holding Asami up because, like, when I was in the sketching phase, I drew Korra's arm separately and then drew Asami on top of it, which is how that should be done. But, like, I think that the arm itself I was able to draw pretty well, like foreshortened, but then as soon as I drew Asami kind of covered up a lot of her arm, and so by the time I drew Asami, it just looked like Korra's hand was big, and so I had to end up shrinking that hand in size more to make it look like it was actually a proper size, which even though the hand should be like, it should be a little bit bigger because of the foreshortened, but it didn't really look that way. I also had a hard time with the colors, mostly with Asami. Korra's colors came pretty easily, but with Asami I had a hard time finding contrast because Asami's color scheme is like black and dark red, which I think looks nice, but when I'm trying to make an illustration it's really hard for me to be able to find that contrast. I ended up using different shades and tones of like black and gray, which I think helped separate them a little bit more. In the end, I still think that Asami could use a little bit more contrast, but I'm still quite happy with the way that it turned out. And yeah, like I said earlier, this one is definitely my favorite. They just mean a lot to me. They're two characters that I absolutely love. I grew up watching Avatar: The Last Airbender, and so to see that the sequel has LGBT representation as an LGBT person, that makes me incredibly happy. They're just two lovely ladies, and I hope that you love them as much as I do. The second couple that I thought of was Victor and Yuri from Yuri on Ice. They were the second couple that I thought of, and I was also really excited to make them. Almost as excited as drawing Korra and Asami. Yuri on Ice has become a pretty iconic anime. I would say it's an anime that a lot of people know about and a lot of people watch or have watched in the past. And I don't really know like Japan's political situation, but from what I can remember around the time that this anime came out, there was some stuff going on with like same-sex couples and like the legal recognition in Japan, and I don't know if they like allow same-sex marriage now. I know that they didn't at the time that this anime was released, and I know that it meant a lot to people in Japan. And actually, when I was finding some reference pictures for this, I ended up stumbling into a little bit of a rabbit hole, and I found out that in Japan, the kiss between Victor and Yuri actually won an award for most heartwarming scene in an anime. So that's pretty cool. This is just one of those shows that I really want more of, and I'm really excited for the movie. I would prefer a season 2, if I'm being honest, but I'm still really excited for the movie. I'm not quite sure, as of recording this, when it's coming out, but it's something that I'm definitely going to be watching once it does come out. It's just a really lovely show, and it's just a really sweet story. I don't have any interest in figure skating, but thanks to this show, I'm definitely able to appreciate it a lot more. I may or may not have cried a little bit when watching this show for the first time, so kind of had to include them because of just how much they made me emotional. I was actually kind of surprised to find that like I was having a difficult time finding reference pictures for this show. You would think that like with a show on this scale and how much the internet loves it, it would be easier for me to find references than it was, but it for some reason wasn't. It was actually quite difficult. I ended up looking at like cosplay costumes online for a lot of my references. And for Victor, I can't quite tell you why, but I decided to change up his clothes just a little bit because the outfit that I'm drawing him in, he normally wears like a white shirt and then a gray vest. But for some reason I got rid of the vest and then made the shirt gray. I think it might have just been like, by the time I had finished the line art, I forgot to draw the vest and I was too lazy to go back and put it in, so I ended up just making the shirt gray and I made the tie, I believe, like a different shade of blue. I actually think that in his original outfit the tie was black, but I made it blue to kind of tie in with his like blue lanyard thing that he had. Hello, yes, it's me, Oliver, from the future, editing this video. I just want to say that I made a pun, because I changed his tie so it could tie in to the I'm sorry, I'll go. I mean, it's different, but it's definitely still recognizable as Victor, so I don't think it's really too big of a deal. I have a lot more experience drawing Victor than I do with Yuri because Victor's my favorite character in the show. So I've drawn him more times than I've drawn Yuri, but I still think I did a good job with both of them, and I'm really happy with the way that this one turned out too. Next up, we have George and Lance, who are Bo's dads from the new Shiro reboot. And there are actually 2 canon couples that are LGBT so far in this show. The other one being 2 princesses named Natasha and Spinnerella, I believe it's her name. I always forget their names, but I was having a really hard time deciding which one of the 2 to draw, and so I actually asked Instagram, and the voting was really, really close. Like, I wasn't expecting it to be as close as it was, but Bo's dads were just a little bit ahead, so I ended up drawing them. I've never actually drawn them before this, so I should have done a little bit more practice before I jumped into it, but I'm so pleasantly surprised at the way that it turned out. It turned out a lot better than I thought it would, at least. Now, the moment that these 2 were introduced in the show, I just fell in love with them. They are the most adorable parents. Their relationship dynamic is actually something that I really like in a ship, where it's like one character is more like professional and serious, and then the other one is like happy-go-lucky bubbly child. And I just always really liked that kind of relationship, so I was really, really excited to see the rest of the episode as soon as I was introduced to them. If you know who Bo is as a character and then you see his dads, it's really easy to see why he is the way that he is. He definitely takes a lot after his dads, and I hope to see more of them because I would like to see more of like just the relationship between the 3 and how they were as parents and how Bo got to be who he is because of them. And Bo's just a really cool character, so it was really interesting to see like what kind of world he comes from. This one I also had a really hard time finding references for, but for this one it was a lot more understandable because they are still fairly new characters. The world is just starting to get to know them. But I did the best that I could. I actually have Tumblr to thank for obsessing over them because that's where I found these references. The color scheme was actually really easy to make with them because their outfits like low-key kind of match. They have like, as a unit, they have a cohesive color scheme, so that was really easy for me to like not make the colors too overbearing. And I just really like that the way this one turned out. Again, I'm saying that for all of these, but I can't help it. I feel like this really captures them. The next pairing we have is Shiro and Adam from Voltron. And before you comment, I'm aware. I'm just aware. Now, Voltron has its problems, and I agree that, like, this pairing wasn't handled very great. Yes, I acknowledge all of those things. Voltron, though, is... okay. Voltron is still a show that means a lot to me, though, so I wanted to include these, and I really like Shiro as a character. I'm aware that Voltron has its flaws, but I love them, so please just chill, because the Voltron fandom is wild. Anyways, I decided to draw Shiro and Adam versus, what's his name? I don't even remember the guy's name. The guy that Shiro ended up getting married to. Because, like, that part just, I agree that that was very, very rushed and kind of just, like, a cop-out. And I really like thinking about, like, Adam and Shiro's relationship and what that was like before things and stuff happened. I decided to draw old school Adam and Shiro because I just really like thinking about what they were like in the garrison and, like, how they could have met and, like, what other people thought of their relationship. And it's just something that I really liked. So instead of going for, like, a fix-it AU, I guess that people were calling it, where it's like them in the future and like the plot happened but Adam's alive and all that stuff, I decided to just draw them in the past because, one, I like thinking about them in the garrison, like I said, and two, I've never actually drawn a garrison uniform before, so I kind of used this as an opportunity. Out of all of the 5 pairings that I drew, this one was definitely the easiest one for me to draw because out of all of the pairings, I have drawn a lot of Voltron fan art in my days, and even though I haven't really drawn Adam a whole lot, I've drawn many Shiro, so I have a lot of experience drawing him, so this definitely came really easy to me, and there wasn't really any part of this drawing that I had a difficult time with necessarily. Honestly, the hardest part was coming up with like a concept for a drawing because I feel like all of the good fan art of these two have already been made. I had a really hard time coming up with like a pose and stuff because whenever I'm coming up with these poses, I want to keep in mind the personality of the character and also the relationship between the two. And so it was kind of hard for me to like really come up with something because I haven't watched Voltron in a while at this point. It's like normally I would rewatch it every now and again, especially whenever a new season was coming out, but the show ended and I'm not really like interested in going back and watching it anytime soon. I can definitely see myself watching it in the future, but this is going on and on and on. Pretty much I had a hard time coming up with a pose, but other than that, this drawing was pretty easy to make. It came really easily to me. The last pairing I have is Simon and Bram from Love, Simon. And I remember when this movie was first coming out and I was so excited for it. When it came out on DVD, I actually woke up early that day to walk to Target to buy it on DVD. So at like 7 in the morning, I was at Target in line with a copy of Love, Simon. That's how much I love this movie and how much this movie means to me. And before I actually watched the movie, I bought the book because I just happened to stumble upon it and I loved it. I cried in both watching the movie and reading the book. It's just such a great story and I love the characters and ooh! As far as like finding references go, it was kind of like a weird thing where it's like I could find references but not of the movie. Like I was able to find plenty of references like for the like actors in the movie, but I couldn't really find like screenshots from the movie that weren't like same 5 screenshots. So I couldn't really find a lot of good references for like the clothes that the characters are wearing, so I kind of just like looked up some references, and then when I was drawing, just drew what I remembered them wearing. So the clothes aren't exact, and a lot of parts of them are just made up because I just couldn't find the references, but I still think that they're identifiable as the characters. That being said, I don't really think I captured their likeness, which is weird, because I don't know how they could look like the characters. Maybe that's just me, but I'm still really happy with the way that this one turned out. When I decided that I was going to be making Pride videos for every week this month, I knew that I wanted to include Love, Simon in some way, because it's a movie that means so much to me. I know it's a movie that means a lot to so many other people, and I just feel like that this movie has done so much good for the LGBT community that it was really important to me that I included it this way, so I'm really happy that I was able to make it. Now, I definitely don't hate this drawing, because I do think that it's really nice and I think it's quite cute, but it is rushed compared to all of the other ones because I was kind of running out of time to film. But I feel like I just wish that I was able to spend a little bit more time on it so I could do them just a little bit more justice and try capturing their likeness more than I did. Again, I like it. I'm not saying that I hate it by any means, but it's definitely my least favorite out of all of them just because I didn't have enough time to work on it. Speaking of time, we're now at the end of the video. Haha, look at me with the smooth transition. This is stupid. But yes, thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoy it. I hope that you enjoyed the pairings that I picked out. Let me know your thoughts on them and what you think of their relationship. And also let me know what LGBT couples in media that you like, whether it's like from a TV show or a movie or a cartoon or just whatever. I would love to hear the couples that you guys are interested in. And also, if you like these designs, they'll be available on my Redbubble shop as stickers and such, so click the link in the description below if you're interested in getting any of that. I would really appreciate it if you would check out my Redbubble shop, so that will be down below. So yeah, thank you for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and comment down below which of these pairings is your favorite. Mine's definitely still Korra and Asami. And if you're looking for more art content in your life, consider subscribing because I'm posting a new video every single week. They're mostly art videos. Every now and again, like the one last week, there's not an art video and it's just a random whatever. But if that's something that you're interested in, consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. Speaking of subscribing, thank you for over 30,000 subscribers. That's really cool. I believe at this point I'm at like 35,000. I don't know where I'll be when I post this, but that's really exciting, so thank you so much. And my social media is on screen now as well as linked in the description below. I am most active on Instagram, so if you want to follow me on any social media, I would recommend following me there over anywhere else because that is where I give updates for videos and post my art and such, whereas everything else is just me goofing off and being a nerd. There is a video on screen now as well as in the iCard for you to check out if you are interested, and I will see you next week for the last Pride video that I'm going to be making this month. Hopefully I'll see you next week, and happy Pride!